doing my best to get over it, forgave myself, so on and so on. I just personally think it's ego, but it is what it is. Um, so last week sometime, somebody had reached out to me and quite angry, but I've been dealing with this person now for quite some time. And it's kind of angry, kind of mad, all that good stuff. Wanting to talk about why there's so much suffering in the world. Why are babies molested? Why are women raped? Why is there so much suffering in the world? Why do people have cancer? Why do people have to die? Why this? Why that? And like I said, I've been dealing with this guy for a while, and I've explained this numerous times, but I guess today's just as good to bring it up. Why there is suffering in the world? Why are we suffering? Why are little children raped? Why are women raped? Why are people murdered? Why is there cancer? Why is there bipolar? Why is there dyslexia? Why is there suffering in the world? And he's upset because he has cancer. So the moment you hear I have cancer, you fall into what? You fall into fear. Okay? So why is there suffering in the world? There is no such thing as suffering. Remember, I did a video on this. Fear. What is fear? Where did fear come from? Fear really does not exist. It's an illusion like everything else down here. So when we stepped away from oneness, when we decided to come on this psychotic journey that we're on, our mind split, right? This is not your mind. Okay. Everybody gets that confused. This is your brain. It's a CPU. These are not your eyes. They're lenses. Your mind is safely at home with Father. So where did fear come from? Fear came from duality. When you decided to come here, your mind literally split and became insane. It became fearful. You created fear, guilt, and the ego. You made a pact with the ego to come here and experience these things. All right. But in that, you created fear. We only have two emotions, guys: fear and love. Love is the only one that is real. All right. So, where does disease come from? Disease only exists in your mind. You create it out of fear. Disease does not exist. Now, when he asked me, well, what about children that are raped? What about kids that have Down syndrome, or babies that are born blind, babies that are born deaf? All of this stuff. He's turning it around and blaming it on God. Okay? You have to understand that when we come here, we choose the things we want to experience. All right? To sit there and say that this brand new baby, which, by the way, the only thing that's new about the baby is the body. What's inside that body or surrounding that body, the aura, the soul, is not new. It's old. It's murdered. It's raped. It's killed in its past lives. The only thing that's new with that baby is the body that it created, the ego. Okay? So why is the baby born blind? That individual soul wanted to experience blindness. That's it. Okay? That person or that female that chose to be brutally beaten and raped chose that experience. Okay? That's it. There is no great shabam on why there is suffering. If you hear the thunder, it got real dark and it's starting to rain. So my apologies. I can't close the doors because it's burning hot in here. It's above 70. That's it. But you choose the suffering. We didn't come here to suffer. Hey, Maria, what still gets me is when did the ego come from? You created the ego. The ego doesn't exist. Okay? The ego does not exist. You all don't understand how powerful you are. Okay? And when I've said this before, I've said it again. You are a God. Direct manifestation of Father, the exact same. All right? Every morning you wake up, your house didn't exist until you created it and woke up in the bed, right? When you wake up to go to work and you get in your car and you're looking around, you're creating that. It doesn't exist. The ego does not exist. That is how fearful you are when you stepped away from oneness. You created fear, guilt, and the ego, none of which exist. That's why Jesus says you are all literally insane right now, your behaviors. That's where you see what you see in the world today. Rape, murder, whatever it is that you don't like. It is happening because you are projecting your unconscious guilt and fear onto others because you're afraid. So anytime you, like today, I had a very bad day at work. I was livid today. I, for the first time in a very long time, had it very, very bad. All right. And that was the ego. He got a hold of me today, really bad. And you can tell I'm fired up. I'm still fired up. And it's probably the death throes, but it is the voice inside your head. Every voice that you have ever heard is simply in your mind. Back home, it does not exist. So cancer does not exist. Like the gentleman that keeps talking to me, why do I have cancer? I have a direct commandment to the non-physical. It is something that he wanted to experience. That's it. Now, does cancer exist? No. Cancer does not exist. Does any form of disease exist? No. God does not create imperfections. We are perfect. Okay? Perfect. And again, it's a misrepresentation of you not knowing how powerful you are. If I say all day that I am, what does it say? I'm going to die of leukemia. I'm going to die of leukemia. I have leukemia. Guess what's going to occur in my body? I am going to create and manifest leukemia inside this body, and I will die from it. Why? It's what I wanted. Now, to have somebody say that, well, that baby didn't deserve to be raped and beaten to death at 4 months old. You don't get to choose, one, how a being enters this realm, and two, you do not get to judge how that being exits this realm or this fake world. It would be like somebody judging you for being born to your parents. I'll get to your question in a minute, Maria. All right? You don't get to choose that. It's their choice on what they want to experience here. Okay? And if they want to experience something that you deem, because you're judging, do not judge, therefore you will be judged, that you don't like that little 3-year-old boy was molested and then raped and then thrown in the garbage, right? Well, you're not a 3-year-old. You're a divine being of immense power, love, and light. All right? That is something that being wanted to experience. It would be no difference if he wanted to experience bipolarism or dyslexia, which none of that exists except in the mind, right? So that is where all of this comes from, right? It doesn't exist except in your mind. Not this. This is your brain. It's a CPU. Your mind is at home, and it is literally split in half, right? All right, Maria, what's this? If a soul wants to experience blindness and medicine comes with a cure, would the soul not allow it to work? Well, of course, but you have to understand, and tell Wire Jason, what's your opinion on Ouija boards? I'll get to that in a minute. But Ouija boards are nonsense, in my opinion. That's it. When Jesus was here 2,000 years ago, if he saw a couple walking, right? And he was walking past them, and one of them was blind. He could not go up to that blind man and cure him. He knew that that person, that being, wanted to experience blindness. Now, if that blind person said, the healer is here, Jesus, and that blind person went to Jesus and said, could you heal me? I would like to be healed. Then Jesus could heal him. All right. But Jesus could not walk up to a cripple, to a blind person, or someone who had lost their leg and heal them. He could not do that. He could not. It was not allowed. Father would not allow that. All right. Because that being wanted to experience this. You cannot take that away from them. All right. It's the same person that wanted to come down here and experience being a drug addict, being homeless on the streets. Now, to us, that doesn't sound like fun, but to them, that's something that they wanted to experience. That's it. And to say that it's wrong or that God created suffering, God created no such thing. All right? God is not going to come down into this physical realm to earth where that doesn't exist and say, all right, guys, you've messed this up. I'm going to fix it up. We're going to create the planet, make it look like it was 65 million years ago, no dinosaurs, and we'll start all over again. We would simply destroy it and bring it to where it is now. Why? Because we're in fear. We're angry. We're mad. We're upset. We don't have enough food to pay the rent. Money to pay the rent, get food. I'm struggling. I can't pay my bills. Where does that come from? It's something you chose to experience. And on the other hand, on the flip side, someone like me, who's a chosen one, comes down here to experience a brutal life, a hard life. Because in the end, it'll all work out and, the good things are coming. All right. But it doesn't change the fact that I am still, doing what I'm doing. But that's where all of this comes from, guys. That being also chose to forget. So when they come into this world blind as an infant, that's something they wanted to choose. It had nothing to do with their mother or father. It is simply what they chose to experience in this lifetime. Same thing with an atheist. I'm going to choose not to believe in Father. Now, the world goes against atheists, but if you've ever watched a near-death experience on an atheist, they were welcomed home. How? Because according to the Bible, that is the unforgivable sin. You don't go home. You go to hell. Yet every single atheist has the most wonderful experience with Father, and their life is transformed. But they simply came here to choose to not believe in God. Why? We came here to rediscover who we are through these experiences. It's not a school. We don't need to learn anything, guys. There's nothing to learn. We already know everything. This is a playground. This is the cosmic wheel of being on the hamster wheel and running around in circles on an endless journey that goes nowhere because we never left home. It is simply what that soul wants to experience. You do not get to judge it. Just because you see on the news, an 18-year-old girl was held captive for a year while she was brutally raped and beaten and all of this. I look at it as that person that did that to that person, to that girl, is scared. The Holy Spirit sees that person is scared. There's no judgment against what that person did to that 18-year-old girl in a hypothetical situation, okay? We have love and compassion for everybody. That's why I told you, Adolf Hitler is home. Ed Gein is home. Elaine Warhouse is home. Jeffrey Dahmer is home. All the people that you find scum and sick and sadistic, they were simply in the process of rediscovering who they are. Nobody that is listening to this podcast now or in the future is innocent. We are all horrifically guilty of doing horrific things to each other, whether in this life or a past life. I told you, I asked Father, have I killed anybody? Please tell me. And 3 days later, I had the most lucid dream of me murdering people. And the faces that were with me were people that I know in this lifetime. I recognized their energy. but their faces were blocked out. But I'm walking around murdering people. All of you have done this in a past life, right? Most of you that are watching this have had 600 to 700 lives already. All right? And you're going to have more until you awaken fully to you knowing who you are and become enlightened and begin to change. And that's when I've told you guys the stuff that I'm experiencing right now through my awakening is the void, the dead zone. I have no passion for anything. I flipped out at work today. I cannot stand my job. I lost it. The ego got a hold of me, whether that was the death throes or whatever. I mean, I wasn't physically abusive to anybody, but in my head, I was screaming with rage today. And it's all because I'm stuck in this void, this emotionless blah, okay? And I'm trying to do the best that I can, and it was brought up to me again is like, why is there so much suffering? Well, this is why. I created my own suffering today. I didn't tell myself to get out of my head all day. I just chose to sit in that anger and stupid crap all day. That was on me. I own it. I apologize to myself. I move on. But it's the same thing, guys. You are the creator of your reality. If you choose to say, I want to experience cancer, then you're going to get cancer. If you want to say, I want to die of this, you're going to die of that. Okay? We don't get to judge how another person comes into this world or how they leave it. Right? Whether they're like in the Ocean Gate submarine when they were going down to see the Titanic, over 3/4 of the way down, it imploded. Well, whoever would have thought that's how I want to die? Well, that's how those 6 people chose to die. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. Did they suffer? No. They left their bodies a trillionth of a second before it even happened. All right? It's the same thing with all of you guys. You wrote your way into your life, into what you were experiencing, mom, dad, whatever it is that you're going through. You chose it. Now, in the same aspect, you wrote your way out of this life as well, meaning you chose your death, and you will die exactly that way. There's no stopping that. It's like, this is the stage. When you see an actor on a stage, right? When you go to see a play and you see an actor on the stage, right? Imagine this, okay? You guys come home from work, you take a shower, you grab dinner, you sit down on the couch, you plop on the TV, and all of a sudden you're engrossed in this movie, right? Well, right now, that's exactly what you're doing at home, except you're watching your life play out on Earth because you created it. So you're sitting back watching your life take place. That's it. And at some point, whether tonight, tomorrow, 5 years, 30 years from now, you're going to die. You're going to die in the manner in which you chose to die. Car accident, burning in a house fire, drowning in the pool, falling out of an airplane crash, car crash. It doesn't matter. You're going to leave this world, or you could be driving to work and a stray bullet comes through the car and you get popped in the head. How? Why? You're looking for answers. It doesn't matter. That's how you chose to leave this world. It's not suffering. All right? We create it through our fractured or split mind in our reality, in our consciousness. That's all that is happening. There's no need to suffer at all. There's no need to have any sort of disease because disease is only in your mind. And that's where all of this comes from. We're all scared, guys. That's why babies sleep so much. Do you know every night you go to bed and fall asleep, your body dies? You're not around it to take care of it. It's being literally maintained by the non-physical, by home, without you surrounding this body and keeping it going. When you leave every night or every time you fall asleep, say you came home from work, you're not feeling good, right? You made it to the couch and you passed out. Your body is dead. You're not in it. You went home. There's a reason why it's called sleep. Sleep/death. You leave it every night and you go home. Why? We're scared. Okay? We meet with our overlords. We meet with Father, Jesus. We hang out with people we want to meet. And then the soul knows when the body's about ready to wake up. And then the soul comes back, wraps itself around the body. And you wake up and you say, oh, I'm awake. Time to go start the day. Just like nothing ever happened. Well, that's the illusion. Your house, your bedroom didn't exist until your soul wrapped around something that doesn't exist and created your house. You walk out to the car, you see the world taking place. You're creating that image, and your eyes are the projector or the lenses that are pushing those symbols out in front of you, just like you're projecting me in front of you tonight, guys. It's not real. We don't need to suffer. And there's one way out of this, and that is to choose love, to love unconditionally. I will not stop saying this. It's the way we can fix this world right now. We can cure the world. We can replant the trees. We can clean the oceans, streams, and lakes, right? Everybody could be absolutely healthy, no disease. But where are we? The world is run by your ego. Me, 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 me. I want more, 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 more. No, I don't care if she's sleeping on the street and hungry. No, it's mine. Okay. It's okay to be self-centered and work on yourself because that's what you need to do. All right. You need to work on yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you work on yourself, you have love, compassion, and empathy for that person that is homeless and on the street, that person that can't pay their bills, that person's child that is dying of cancer, right? We need to show love and love one another, regardless of who it is and what has happened. So that is why there is suffering in this world. You are constantly projecting your unconscious fear and guilt onto other people, and you don't give a rat's ass whether it's a man, woman, or child. You will step right over them to get what you want. And that is the problem with the world. Watch the news. Listen to the news. All right? And somebody had mentioned to me, because I didn't know this, so remember what I told you about World War III coming, right? Apparently, China has called in all their debts from 28 nations, including us, England, France, Germany, Great Britain, all of them. And what do you think is going to happen if we can't pay those debts off? That they're going to say, well, okay, we're going to come over and take control of your corporations. You owe us this, this, and this, and now it's ours. We're going to say no. And then what do you think is going to happen? Remember, I told you one of two options was going to take place. That's option number one. You're going to start seeing it to start play out, right? This decade is almost over. That's option number one. Option number two is what did I say? Natural disasters coming, but it's also going to start in the east. So you're seeing option one starting to play out right now. And if people can't pay their debts, what do you think is going to start? The World War III. And so it begins. So be prepared, ladies and gentlemen, for what's about to come. Because if you watch the news and you watch China, they want all their debts paid off. The United States has to pay what, some odd trillions of dollars to China? What do you think China's going to do with that stuff? Plant crops and pay their people well? No, they're going to build up their military and continue to build up their military. And I'm not going to get started on this. I've warned you guys for a while now what's going to take place. And we still refuse to change. We still refuse to love unconditionally. You know, I didn't start this channel to preach to myself, to say, hey guys, you know, or hey Jace, you know, we need to do this. No, this is for all of you, right? My love for you, my desire for you to step up your game, to immerse yourself, to find yourself, to become the best version of your truest self, to see that love is the only answer. And that is the truth. There's nothing else to fix all of this except love. So Hey Heath, how you doing? It's good to see you. I'm kind of on a rant, so but that's where and that when I started off to the gentleman that wanted to know why we suffer, why babies have to suffer, why there's death, why there's disease, all of this. I answered the question. Now there's a person in this room tonight that asked me, Jace, could you talk about the soul having limitations? Why we struggle in relationships, why we struggle in our jobs, why we struggle with everything. All right. And that in itself, I will do a video on, but I can talk about it here a little bit. We are eternal beings, multidimensional beings, a soul, living multiple lives across multiple different realities and dimensions right now. We are boundless and we are limitless in everything, period. Now, when I'm just going to use the example of a relationship, all right? When two people meet each other and they have a connection, right? You move too fast, right? You get it, you feel everything's good, you get into intimacy right away. You don't take the time to actually date. Next thing you know, you're in a relationship now that you've invested a year in or more, say, right? And now your partner's going to say, well, no, you weren't like this. No, I want this, and I want this. And next thing you know, he's putting out, I'm not doing that. No, you never said that before. And where did this come from? Now you start butting heads, right? Now there is tension. Now anger and frustration starts to build. Now you're 2, 3, 5, 10 years into, say, your marriage, right? And now it is completely broken down. There's no more intimacy. It's constant bitching, nagging, struggling, right? Well, what happened? One, you placed limitations on your partner. We don't like limitations. Our soul bucks that, refuses it, or reputes it, right? It doesn't understand. It will not tolerate limitations being placed upon it. That's why you have trouble at your job. It's not a good fit, and more is being heaped on you. You did it, and you're saying, no, no way, I'm done, right? So instead of taking the time to actually date, like a year or 2 years, and in that time of dating, before any commitment is made, you're going to know whether your intimacy rocks or it sucks. You're going to find out who your partner really is within that year or 2 years, right? And then you'll know if it's a good fit or not. And then you could say, I'd like to stay. Do you like to stay? Right. But what did you do? You didn't place limitations on your partner. Right. Now, when I told you about my twin flame when I was married, right, we met. All right. I did not touch her for over a year. I mean, no hugging, no kissing, no touching the kill zones, right? I mean, I would give her a hug if she asked for a hug, but there was no kissing, no what you would call intimate foreplay or any of that. I did not touch her. And finally, she got to the point where she's like, asked me, are you gay? And I said, no. She goes, then what is your problem? I wanted to know. And in that year that I'll get to your question in a minute. In that year, we never placed restrictions on each other, limitations. You can't talk to her. You can't talk to him. You can't go there. You can't do this, blah, blah, blah. There were no limitations placed on us. I didn't place any on her, and she placed nothing on me. And we found out that we could actually have a wonderful relationship, right? But we didn't. It ended up, she's coming back, but we ended up splitting up. But what I'm telling you is basically dated her for over a year before any type of intimacy, kissing, fondling, touching, and actual sexual intercourse didn't take place for over a year. We do not like limitations, and we will not have limitations placed on ourselves by anybody, because we are limitless, we are boundless, we are eternal. We will not stand for any type of limitations being placed on us. And that is why you guys struggle in your job, in your relationships, not only with your children, with your parents, with your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. All right? That is why that is taking place. You need to date your partner. And I'm not talking 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I'm talking a year of dating or longer. And I'm talking 6 to 8 months before you are actually physically intimate. You need to know whether you're compatible, whether those restrictions will be placed on you. Most people come to, I'm not having anal sex, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Bye. I'm not going to be labeled this, that, or the other thing, or have those restrictions placed on me. Same thing. Well, I'm not living in, I want to live, I'm not living in the city. No. Then you're going to know it's not going to work, because over time, what's going to take place is resentment will build up, frustration, resentment, and then absolute, utter hatred will come forth. And that's when you see physical abuse starting to take place, right? Energy, it can't be destroyed, right? It's going to change form from either beautiful happiness to physical abuse, sexual abuse. You'll fight, you'll disagree. Relationships end. Limitations, ladies and gentlemen. We are limitless. We are eternal. We will not stand for those types of limitations being struck upon us, all right? If there's anything my twin flame wants from me, she will get. I don't care how strange, bizarre, or whatever it is. I love her to that extent. And she's already told me there's nothing I would not do for you. That's that. No limitations. All right? Why the Quran denies the crucifixion of Jesus? Because it's their own religion. They just don't believe that Jesus was a man. And it's ironic that if you have ever listened to, there's several Muslim NDEs. Guess who they meet? They don't meet Muhammad. They meet Jesus. Because religion, Heath, divides. Spirituality brings people together. Okay? It's the fondness, it's the oneness of knowing that we are all one, that we are created one. Religion is meant to divide, and it does it very well. That's why I left Christianity after my near-death experience. After I died, when I told you guys I came back, I was pissed off. I've been lied to my whole life. For 50 years, I've been lied to. Okay? And now I come back, and that's when I screamed at, you can't do this to people. You can't do this to somebody. Throw them back in a body and say, there you go do your thing. Ha ha ha. I was very angry and depressed. So religion is simply made to fight, bicker, and what? Now wars are created in God's name? No, it's a pile of horseshit. Who cares what the Quran thinks? I really don't. You know what my thoughts are on the Bible. I threw my Bible, that pile of shit, in the garbage. That's where it belongs. Same thing with the Quran. Throw it in the garbage. It's where it belongs. It's only meant to divide and conquer us, to keep us bickering and fighting and moaning and killing one another. All right? Spirituality brings us together in the form of love. So, Maria, what are you saying? I agree about compatibility. Like, there is nothing I wouldn't do for my twin, and the things I would be very uncomfortable and not want to do, he does not. Okay, and that's what it is, right? But you will find that out when you're dating. Well, I'm not, and then you're going to know. And that's when you say, you know what, we're not a good fit. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And then leave. You're not entitling to stay with that person. If God thinks that you're supposed to stay with one person your entire lifetime down here because of a stupid piece of paper, you're ignorant. All right? God doesn't care about your marriage. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to live your life to its fullest. You are meant to love one another, not just one person. You're meant to love everybody. And that means that goes hand in hand with your sexual identity. All right? If you love one another, you two decide that you want to share your bodies with one another, whether one person is married or you're both are married or not, doesn't matter to God. Are you in love? Do you love one another? Do you want to share this experience? Great. Do it. Right? So that's what I mean with our limitations. Our souls will not be limited. You will not force me ever again to submit to something that I will not do in a relationship or a job. And that is why I'm struggling with work right now, not to mention the position I'm in this alignment that is taking place. I will not be limited anymore. I know who I am. I know what I am. I will not stand for it anymore. So don't feel bad. The worst thing you could ever do is feel guilt. Okay? Guilt is a direct bitch slap to God. It is a direct insult to your Father for you to feel any way, shape, and form guilty about anything you do. You are here to rediscover who you are. Are you going to make mistakes? Yep. You're going to fall down and bust your teeth out, skin your knee or your elbow and your knee? Yep. I've made a million mistakes. Yet when I transitioned home in my death, I was loved beyond anything you could ever and anything you can understand. That was even with the outright rejection of the Holy Spirit, the unforgivable sin, according to Christianity. You're going to burn in hell. Wrong. Okay, that's not going to happen. So, good evening. It's nice to see you too, Ronald. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, you guys, one, never feel guilty about anything you do. Anything you do. And or how you do it or who you do it with. What I ask of you, though, when you are doing it, no matter what it is, to love that person unconditionally. And if it's somebody that's like, I'm having a big time problem with at work, I keep telling myself it's a dream. I forgive you. You don't have to stay in that situation. You don't have to be around them. Bye, goodbye, all right? But you do have to forgive them and love them because that's just another angry version of yourself, all right? So do not feel guilty about anything you do. God does not like it. It's a direct bitch slap to your Father, all right? We are not to feel guilty about anything. Second thing, we are to need nothing. Nothing here. Everything has been given to us. You believe you are struggling and not doing well because of your split mind. You have been given everything you need to succeed in abundance. All right? So, again, if you're not happy in your marriage or your relationship with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or same sex, it doesn't matter. You need to fix it, work on it, or leave. God, there is no judgment. I've told you that, guys. Right? If you're not happy in your marriage, walk away from it. Well, what about my kids? They're not your kids. They're a God too. They're simply playing the role. In your previous life, your children may have been your parents. All right? Role reversal. They just simply chose you because you match their vibration, and you've probably asked them to in creating your life, but they're not your children. They never have been. They never will be your children. A God cannot belong to another God. I've said that many times. So to all you parents out there who have children or whatever that helicopter your parent, oh, did you stub your toe? Are you okay? Stop. Okay? Stop hovering over your children. Love them, raise them. But they came here to experience life. They came here to work on themselves. When they're 18 years old, I need you guys to listen very carefully. I don't know how many people in here have kids. When they're 18, you kick them out of the house. Gone. They came here. That comes directly from Father. They came here to work on themselves. You gave them a good upbringing, common sense, this, that, and the other thing. Now it's time for them to go out in the world and rediscover who they are. Are they going to fall down? Probably. They may get in a car accident. They may become homeless. They may become jobless. They may struggle without having enough food. Well, whatever. They need to experience this. So when they're 18, you kick them out of the house. Bye. And if they just want to plop up and bring their stuff over, no. No. Call me, make arrangements, come on over, we'll have some time, right? It's not saying that you don't love them, but they have a job to do as well as you did, all right? I've lived in my car. I showered in porta potties. I was homeless. Nobody came to me and said, do you need help? Are you okay? No, I did it on my own. They need to figure this stuff out too, all right? So, and I did the dumpster diving, all right? Here I am. I'm okay. But what was shown to me is when I died and I came back, all the things that I went through were designed by me to grow up with my parents. I chose very abusive parents. I chose a very difficult life. I chose the abuse. Why? Clearly, I needed to work on more forgiveness. Well, I have done that. I love my parents. I forgive my parents. Will I ever see them or speak to them again on this earth? No, but I forgave them. So all these things that I've gone through has shown me how brutally resilient I am. After my near-death experience, I couldn't walk. I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to talk. I had to learn how to eat. I had to learn how to drink again. I was a 50-year-old invalid. My company fired me. I had no money coming in. Eviction notices. My vehicle got repossessed. Did anybody help me? Anybody come to say, wow? No, I did it on my own. And that is what we come to do. We come here to go through some difficult things to figure out who we are. And we do not like limitations put on us. If somebody were to say in that moment, well, you can only do this, this, and this, I would have wigged out on them, right? We don't like those limitations. And you all know what I'm talking about in relationships, all right? Or in your job, when you go in and you can't stand it anymore, it's because of the limitations. We are limitless. So you need to fix that and don't worry about it. Simply tell your job, off, I'm out. Right? But you live in fear. Oh, how am I going to pay the bills? Where's the food going to come from? You don't think for 1 minute that if you just step back and let everything just happen, that before you know it, a job would come, the phone would ring, you got a better paying job, a little less further from home, everything's going to be fine, but you live in fear. You get on that phone, you start putting out resumes, you start doing this because you're frantic. It's fear. We've forgotten how to live. And you know the best way, guys, if you want to see how we need to live, go to a daycare, right? Go to a daycare. And when they're outside playing, are they worried about where lunch is coming from? Are they worried about whether they're going to fall down? Are they worried about where they're going to sleep? Watch kids play. There's no fear. They're laughing, they're joking, they're running around and hugging each other, kissing each other, snot running down their face. They'll trip and fall and roll around and get up and hug each other. We need to watch children. They've got it down. They don't worry where their next meal is going to come from, who's going to pick them up tonight. Right? You do. I lost my job. Fear. We are constantly in fear. Watch children. Watch them play. 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. Watch them play. They are fearless. They are limitless. They are boundless. That is the way we need to be. Could you imagine if we lived life like that? So carefree and whatever. Guess what? All our opportunities would come because we're not living in fear. We're not putting those limitations on our partners, on our children, on ourselves. This is where we all fail, right? And this is where I'm even having a struggle because I'm not looking for jobs. I'm not doing anything. I feel like the most useless person in the world right now. And it's bubbling out into anger right now at work, at everything, because I'm just letting it fly like, like a 3-year-old. But for 50 years, it's been beaten into me. You don't do that. You strive for success. You strive for that career. You strive for more money. You strive for that bigger house, right? More, right? You cannot climb up the corporate ladder. If you don't, you're a worthless son of a bitch. You're useless to your wife and kids, right? And we've got it all wrong. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Remove those limitations from who you expect your partner to be, whether it's in a heterosexual or a same sex. Remove it from your workforce. Find that job where there's no limitations on you, right? That's where we've gone wrong. Let's see. My son is homeless in Florida with no job. He's 25 and I helped him with thousands of dollars, but I finally realized that it's on him. You're right, Ronald. He needs to fix it. If he's homeless, love him, care for him, say, I love you. You're my son. I love you, but you need to get on your feet and you need to figure this out. How you need to do it, that's up to you. You have free will, right? So I had my ex who wouldn't allow me to listen to a song he didn't like. Well, that's when you got to realize that you need to move on. And if you're unhappy in your marriage, walk out. Bye. See you. You don't make me happy anymore. Now, don't do it in a vicious, mean, nasty way. Simply say, I don't love you anymore. It's not conducive to my self-centeredness, my own happiness. All right? Move on. And then find that person that makes you happy. And again, date. Don't throw sex into it right away. Date. Find out what works for you, what doesn't. And you'll know within 5-6 months or a year, it's compatible. Not only that, with your job. Don't be afraid about leaving your job. I'm not right now. I'm hoping like hell they fire me because I'm not worried about where money's going to come from. I know it is. So let them, right? I'm not happy. I'm in this void of utter frustration and downright anger today. But that was the death of the ego or the death throes. But you guys understand what I'm saying. Watch little ones play. Go to a playground now that it's nice out. Go watch little ones play, right? Moms and dads are way off. Watch them play. They're not worried about anything. They're not worried about being fed, going to the bathroom, where they're going to sleep tonight, who's going to give them a shower or tubbies, anything. They're loving on each other. They're having fun. They're playing. No worry, no guilt, no fear. It's what we need to do. We created a system that is a pile of shit, right? It needs to crumble. It needs to dissolve. And we need to build up that happiness within us again. Our childlike, we all have our child in us. We know what makes us happy and giggle and have fun. How often does that inner child come out anymore? Never. Bills got to get paid. Dinner's got to get done. This is got to take the car and got to take it. There's no more inner child with any of us anymore, is there? No. Hi there. So that's where we need to step back. Watch our kids play. Watch them out there having fun. They're not worried about a goddamn thing. Nothing. That's what we need to do. We will live much happier, healthier, longer lives. These bodies that the ego created were built for an eternity. The best we can get out of them is 70 to 80 years. We destroy them, right? We don't maintain them. We smoke, we drink, we commit suicide. Billions of people commit suicide every day, right? You're smoking on that cigarette left and right. The next thing you know, you're crying out to God because your lungs are shot. You've got lung cancer, skin cancer, whatever, right? It took you 40 years to kill yourself, but it's still suicide. Same thing with an alcoholic. Hitting that bottle every night, drinking. Now I got liver failure, kidney failure. Guess what? Now you're crying out to God, please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. Well, you're the one that killed yourself. It just took you 30 years of alcoholism to call it an end to your life, right? What people have a problem with suicide is somebody putting a gun to their head and pulling the trigger. It's the same thing. You just don't like the speed in which they did it with. It's still suicide, right? We're killing ourselves because we're so stressed and fearful. And if you look at the world, it's not changing. We're still on the 10-yard line in our diapers. We've been there for over 2,000 years and we haven't moved. What's the definition of insanity, guys? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. We haven't moved off the 10-yard line since Jesus Christ was here 2 millennia ago. And all he did was teach and show you unconditional love. He's taught you through experience. The same thing I'm teaching you guys, right? And we're still not doing anything about it. Okay, do we have to love someone who hates and abuses us? Love them and forgive them. Remember, that person that hates you or berates you is you. Right? It looks like there's 12 people in here watching me, right? Well, really, there's only one. Thank you very much. There's only one. Okay? And that's God. When I told you in one of my videos that I did with Dave Sledge, when I said, I am God. That is truth. I am God. Each and every one of you are God. Jesus said it. I and the Father are one. We are one. We're all one with the Father. There's only one. That is God. All right? Remember what I told you. All that is, thank you, Leo. I love you. Remember, all that is was lonely. Right? Nothing around. All that is knows everything. That wasn't good enough for God. God already knows everything, but God now wants to know everything, but he wants to know it through experience. He wants to experience it all. So what did God do? He created us in his own image. It's like taking the big ball of cookie dough, right? Taking out a little ball and rolling it up, flopping it on the pan to cook. That little ball is still God, right? If I plopped it back into the big ball, is it not God? Right. So God created us. What do? We come here to experience all that is, who already knows everything. Now we're experiencing this. So God is experiencing all that is, already knows. We are giving God the experience that he's asking for. But what God is asking of us in return is to stop the hate, stop the killing, stop the rapes. I mean, we don't need to experience this anymore. It's not fun. We know what it is. It's not pleasant. Let's work on the love. And that is what I've come here to teach you guys. All right? Thank you, Leo. I love you. Yeshua said that we are all God's too. That's exactly what Yeshua said. Is it not written in your laws? I said you are God's. There it is. And I read that to you in the Bible that I went out and bought, the New King James. It's there. He's telling you who we are. We don't need to do this. We need to be little kids. We need to not be ashamed of our bodies. Why are you ashamed of your bodies? You were taught from mom and dad at an early age when you started to masturbate and touch yourself that it was gross. It was disgusting. Go in your room. Shut the door. Be quiet. I don't want to see you. Right? And if they caught you out there while you're watching TV and you're rubbed, and then you get the evil eye and you're told that you're a filthy pig. Right? And then you're supposed to go hide in the bedroom. Mom and dad's, when you're intimate, you only do it when the kids are asleep, right? Or not around. Why? You're embarrassed. What are you embarrassed about? God gave you this sexual divine energy. It is beautiful. It is pure. We hide our bodies under clothing because we're ashamed of ourselves. We've got it all wrong. I mean, we've got it so wrong, it's pathetic, right? We are to love one another. We are to love our bodies. There's nothing to be ashamed of, right? If parents today would look at their children, and when their children walk in on them when they're 2 or 3 years old and they're making love, mom and dad, don't stop. You keep making love. What are you guys doing? Mommy and daddy are making love. Kid's going to roll over and go to sleep. They're not going to know anything but love. We're teaching our children to be ashamed of themselves. They don't even know what their sexual identity is anymore because we've badmouthed it and made it just a disgusting, filthy thing that they don't even know the fuck they are anymore. Right? So no, we've got it wrong. God doesn't care. He said, if you go out, come out of the bathroom or the bedroom and you're naked, what are you covering up for? Don't cover up. Walk out. Teach your children how beautiful they are, how beautiful you are. Right? That's where the wheels of change need to begin with our babies, with our offspring. Don't hide your sexual identity. Don't hide it from them. Show them. We teach them everything else, but their sexual identity. Now, you all know, being a teenager, you were all confused. You were all told to shut up. You were all told to go hide, how filthy and disgusting it was. But yet, when you're with your partner, it's the most amazing and beautiful, wonderful thing in the world. But yet, you're all filthy ashamed of it. That's the number one big gripe that our Father has. Stop it. So all those people, if you're watching this, new parents, young parents, don't do this to your children. Don't. It's not child abuse. It's love. You're showing them to love not only themselves, but to watch mom and dad make love, be in love, to show love. Not only as just a hug and a kiss outside, but in the bedroom. It's not wrong. So, new parents, don't do this to your children. Don't cripple them from the time they are young. Show them nothing but love. So they will come out into the world and they will show their children, they will show their grandchildren what it is. It is beautiful. My dad busted me one time. I was so embarrassed. Right. Well, and it is. Why are you embarrassed? It's a natural act. Your Father gave it to you. It's a divine way to reach home. Remember when I talked to you about the 2 keys? One is your guidance system. When you're pissed off, angry, hateful, feeling anxious, you're out of alignment with your true self. That's your higher self saying, hey, 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 we need to align ourselves. We're out of alignment with love, right? Second key is your divine sexual energy. To women, to female vehicles out there, when you're really in love with a partner, right? And you're intimate and he gives you the most amazing orgasm. Your eyes roll back into your head. You arch your back and you grunt. You let out this guttural grunt, right? And all of a sudden you're sobbing. You roll over on your side and you're reaching around for him because you just want him to touch you and hold you. You just went home. You don't know where or what happened to you, but you know something magical happened. Everything disappeared, right? And your body convulsed. You just went home to your Father. Now tell me that that is wrong or disgusting or gross. It's not. That's part of being unlimited in who you are, right? Don't feel guilty or ashamed about those things, guys. It's natural. It's beautiful. Your Father gave it to you so you can reach him. But we're teaching our children and our offspring. And if you look at our society, how many of you women watching me right now would like to be on a nice summer day walking down the sidewalk when it's 98 degrees without a shirt on? You would all raise your hand and say, I'm desperately craving that. Yet you would be pulled over, hauled off to jail because you have every right to be in love with your body and show your body, right? So that's what I'm talking about. We've got to stop this, guys. We're crushing ourselves with all these limitations we're putting on us. And if you're watching the youth these days, right, what are they doing? They're out there, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, running around with guns, handguns, robbing people, shooting people, dying. They're rebelling. because of all the limitations that are being put on them by us. We've got to stop. And that's an excellent video for me to do. I'm going to finish up the ego next week, the second part of the ego, and then come back to putting limitations on it. And I will get into depth again with what I just talked about. Blowing my mind here. Please continue, Jason. I'm so honored. Why does the material world exist, Jason? The material world was created by us. You have to understand that the universe doesn't exist. All right? The universe does not exist. It exists in your mind. Where's your mind? At home. Again, this isn't your mind. This is your brain. It's a CPU. These eyes are lenses. So what you're thinking about or dreaming about at home is being transmitted to the CPU. You're making sense of it and you're projecting it out into the world. But when you created your lives, you created what you know as the Big Bang, right? You created the universe, okay? The material world. You created it to hide in it because the ego is hell-bent on overthrowing God. You know that as the devil, right? There are no fallen angels. It's impossible for an angel to fall. Impossible. But the ego is not your friend. It attacks, contemns, and judges, and is hell-bent on keeping you living in fear. And that is why the universe was created. Now you can, or the ego thinks it can hide from God, that it can't be seen. It can do what it wants to do. And in the meantime, we're fighting it because we know, what are we all craving, guys? We're all craving the same thing, right? We all want to be loved. We all want peace. We all want that fucking voice in our head to stop. We want to be loved. We want to be made love too. We want safety and security. But it's our minds that are lost and confused. So the material world, Lemon, doesn't exist. The universe only exists in your mind. There are no highly advanced civilizations. They only exist in your mind. The universe doesn't exist. There's nothing here. And when the second coming of Christ comes, like you would hear in the book of Revelations, right? The second coming of Christ is simply all of us reaching peace. No more ego. And when that moment happens, whoop, the universe collapses in on itself. The void disappears. Whoop. We're all back home. We all wake up and, wow, wasn't that fun? Well, that was one hell of a trip, right? Right. Okay. That's all the second coming of Christ is us reaching peace. All of us in this physical realm. Once that happens, the universe collapses in on itself, disappears like the Big Bang, but backwards. Whoop. Nothing, blackness. That blackness disappears. And we simply wake up. No more movie watching. That's all. So the universe doesn't exist, hon. It doesn't. There is no Antichrist. The government, tech, Trump. Remember, we created all of this, or we're creating it in our mind. So there is no Antichrist. If you want to put a label from the devil, the ego's the devil. He doesn't have your best interest in heart in any way, shape, and form. He's out to save his own ass. Okay? And that's where you run into trouble, right? That's where the voice in your head whispers. He's a son of a bitch. Fuck him. You know, that guy, you know, fuck him for wearing that MAGA hat. Or look at her. Her blouse is ugly as hell. I got the same blouse and it looks better on me. That's the ego. Okay? What does they do? Attack, condemn, and judge. So, Jasper, what a great name. Hey, Jason, did God create the material? No, we created it all. God had nothing to do with this. This is us. Where does the material world come from? Our minds. We're creating it in our minds. It doesn't exist. So when you go to Jasper, when you go to sleep every night, you technically die. Okay? When you die, the universe, when you leave your body, when you leave it, okay, your body is technically dead. You go back home. All right? Well, how's your body actually still surviving? It's because the non-physical is keeping it alive. Now, when you wake up every morning and you open your eyes for the first time, you are now recreating your bedroom. When you walk out to work, you are creating what you see. Okay? That is how powerful you are. I've told you guys this a million times. You misunderstand how powerful you are. You are a God. You are a creator. You created the universe. You create everything you see on a millisecond basis. When you go to the grocery store, when you get in the car, when you go play to the park, when you take your dogs for a walk, you are all creating it. It's not actually happening. Best example I can give you. Remember the very first movie, Avatar? When he sees his avatar, then he lays down in bed for the first time and he falls asleep, and all of a sudden you see his consciousness, whoop, that ball of energy go into the blue avatar, and then the avatar awakes. That's what is taking place here. Now, is that avatar really real? No. Is what he experiencing out in Avatar real? No, because he's not one of them. It's an illusion. He's dreaming it all, just like in Avatar. That's what we're doing, guys. That's all this is. It's all an illusion. It's a scam. It's the Matrix. Like Keanu Reeves, when they plug him in and he falls asleep, whoop, he's creating what he wants. You are creating everything you see and do on a millisecond basis. So in order to change that, I've told you this, guys, before. Your thoughts create your reality. You have to change your thoughts, not here in your mind. How, Jason? I told you guys, meditate, quiet, sit in silence, block everything out as much as you can, right? Listen to your breath, breathe deeply. And in that stillness, you will be able to hear yourself. Not this, you will be able to hear yourself. Okay? And only in that stillness can you change your reality. You already have everything you need. You created it the moment the Big Bang took place. All right? So one more thing I'm going to explain before I go, because I'm over an hour. Yep. You'll know, like when you're walking in the grocery store, you're walking in a park, somebody, you just doesn't like you, right? You just don't like each other. You're walking in different dimensions. Your vibration is higher than theirs. You're walking in a different dimension, even though you're right next to them on the street or whatever. They don't want to they won't make eye contact with you. They give you the cold shoulder. You've tried to speak. They don't want to have anything to do with you. They're in a different dimension, even though they're right next to you. All right. You're above them. They don't like it. You make them see, you mirror them. But when they're looking in that mirror, they see the ugliness within them. They don't like it. So naturally, they don't like you. You make them see that. That happens to me everywhere I go, all the time. All right. So just know that you're walking in a different dimension. And you're above them, not because you're better than them, but you're vibrating at a much higher level. All right. And that's why that is taking place, whether it's in the workforce, whether it's at a park. You'll see a parent that just doesn't like you. They don't like your energy. You're making them feel very uncomfortable. All right. And that's okay. They have work to do. You have work to do. You're where you're at. They're where they're at. Simple as that. Just incredible. Have you thought about writing a book about your experience? I'm working on a book. It's taken me some time, so I will let you guys know when the book is done. Just incredible. Where does structure come from? We structure everything. Everything that is taking place, we are doing it, guys. It's a collective consciousness that you see on planet Earth, all right? It's all of us creating this, not just me. I see my little tiny bit of it, but we're all creating this. Remember what I told you, when we're all at home, all right? Home, heaven, right? When God wants something from us, right? When God wants to create something, does he go create it? No, because we're a part of him. Your will is his will. His will is your will. It's one and the same, okay? So when God comes to us and he wants something from us, he comes to all of us when we're home, right? And what do? We create it for him. As a collective consciousness, we give him what he wants out of love, right? But we do it all as one. We can fix this whole planet right now as a collective consciousness because we have it where we where we're at right now because that's where our mindsets are at. We can fix it as a collective consciousness like we do at home. It's that simple, guys. We have to come together and love one another. That is what my channel is about. That's what I come on here every other week, Friday, to talk to you guys about, so we can do this. We can do this. I told you what is taking place. If you're watching what's going on with China right now, I don't want to end in a bad spot, but if they're calling in all their debts, something's going to happen. A spark is going to fly. And what I told you, World War III is coming. We're well within, well, it's 5 years. We're teetering on oblivion, being, making this species damn near extinct. All right. We need to change. We need to love and forgive. I don't care what has happened to you. I don't care if you were brutally beaten and raped. I don't care if somebody strangled your child to death. As horrible as that sounds, I know it. You need to forgive them unconditionally, because that person is you. It is you. Just like I had to forgive my parents with the brutal abuse that I took growing up. And why it was so strong and with me is because I'm an empath. I've been a big empath from the time I came into this world. And growing up in the brutality that I grew up in, it crushed me. All right. But I had to forgive my parents. We need to forgive. Jesus taught forgiveness. He forgave them as they were nailing him to the cross. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. What does that mean? I'll make it simple for you guys. It means, Father, forgive their minds. It's split. They don't know what they're doing. They don't remember who they are. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. So when somebody's being mean to you or somebody's done something to that, remember that. Remember it. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. So when you're angry and you want to hurt them, remember that. Let it sink in. They don't remember who they are. You don't remember who you are. And I'm working with you guys so you can remember who you are, so we can change this world into nothing but love and beauty and harmony and oneness with all, because we're all searching for the same thing. We're all searching for love. We're all searching for peace. And if you think smoking that cigarette or smoking that joint or going to the bar so you can forget your woes, it's never going to work. It's only going to work when you change your mind. I like the term trapped in their minds. We are stuck in our minds. We are living duality. When we took on consciousness, we took on duality. Our minds split and we literally became insane. When the judge rules on the victim, no, he's insane. Okay. Well, right now, our minds are literally insane. That is why there is no judgment against us. Ever. No matter what you've done, no matter what you've said, you don't remember who you are. Therefore, there can be no judgment. There is no judgment, guys. All you guys, I love you. Thank you for showing up tonight. You made my day. You made me feel better. I feel your love. And you brought me out of a horrific funk that I was in all day. I can feel your love. And you made my night. You truly have. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your love and support. I am beyond honored. All right? I thank you so much for bringing me out of this nasty funk that I was in. I hope you all have a blessed weekend. Next video I will finish up the second part of the ego. You're welcome, Jasper. Thank you for showing up. I truly appreciate it. Paco, thank you. Maria, always, I love you, hon. Heath, love you. Ronald, it is so good to see you, my friend. I love you, brother. I am glad you are doing well. I truly am. To all of you, you have a blessed weekend. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys. Yep, I start at 7 p.m. Central. Okay, so 7 p.m. Not this coming Friday, but the next Friday, I will be on 7 p.m. All right, mark it down. I love you guys.